Welcome, everyone. This is November 2023's edition of Cards and Coffee with Colleen, and this month it's with Kathi. I know that if some of you have came to the last ones that we've been holding, we had Carrie, my good friend Carrie from Michigan. She's asked to take a little bit of a hiatus for an undetermined amount of time, and my good friend Kathi here is from the East Coast, and she and I did some sort of rendition of this. It was called something different, but we did this last year actually together. So when Carrie needed to kind of bow out a little bit, I asked Kathi if she would step back in, and she graciously said yes. So just a quick introduction, and then I'm going to hand it to Kathi to introduce herself. But my name is Colleen Lemma. If you don't know me already, I am an intuitive reader, Reiki master. I do past life regression, professional astrologer, read the Akashic records, and I've been doing my work for about 25 years or so. So that's all I'm going to say, because we only have an hour for this event, and we definitely want to get to as many people for the mini reading part as we can. But Kathi, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Kathi, and I have been a psychic medium. I also am a Reiki master teacher. I also do past life regressions as well, and high dimensional energy shifting and moving. I've been on this path for about 21 years-ish. I don't think we ever truly know how long we've been on this path. I mean, clearly it feels like my whole lifetime, so I'll just say that. Very blessed and honored to be with all of you today, and of course with my good friend Colleen. So that's all. I'm also the owner of Voices of Enlightenment. So if you happen to see that Facebook page or whatever, you're more than welcome to connect with us. So yeah, now pass so that we can get going.
Thank you, Kathi. So still letting people in from the waiting room, but usually Kathi and I just start out, try to keep it to maybe 10 minutes, but we'll talk a little bit about collective energies, and Kathi and I have a couple of messages for the collective before we get into some individualized readings. And so I'll start out by saying, from a numerology and astrology perspective is where I kind of go for the collective messages. And first of all, I just heard some background. So if everybody could mute themselves, that would be great, so that I don't have to go through and do that for the time being. But we are in the middle
trying to figure out how to mute, sorry.
Oh, okay. We're in the middle of lunation. So basically this past Monday, we had a new moon in Scorpio, and new moons are about new beginnings. And next Monday, not this coming Monday, but a week from Monday, we're going to be having a full moon in Gemini, and full moons are about endings and completion. Now, the big month, for endings and new beginnings actually was October, because we had some eclipses, right? A new moon solar eclipse, a full moon lunar eclipse. But that just activated this long-term energy of endings and new beginnings in our lives. So we're still kind of under that period of the eclipse energies unfolding. So every new moon and full moon we have, from there, and for next month, December, the end of the year, is really kind of showing us the story unfolding of what it is that is going to be completed in our lives. And this could be situational energy that comes to completion, or this could be just mindset and belief systems within ourselves, or a purging emotionally within ourselves that's happening, that's bringing a completion to something for us in our evolution and growth. And then, of course, that has to be followed by new beginnings. Every ending has a new beginning, and planting new seeds and initiation of something new. I'm excited because astrologically next week, we have the sun moving into Sagittarius and Mars moving into Sagittarius, joining Mercury in Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is this fire sign, passion, inspiration. It's full of life and vital energy. We're coming out of the Scorpio energy, where Sun Mars is still in Scorpio. Mercury was in Scorpio, which was hugely this psychological, intense, purging, transmuting, of energies going on. And that sometimes can be a little difficult to go through. And again, we're still moving through some of that. with the sun that rules our identity and personality, and Mars rules forward movement, energy, and action, our physical vitality. But next week again, Wednesday, the sun moves into Sagittarius, and next Friday, the Mars, the warrior, moves into Sagittarius. So I'm really excited about that. And the last thing I'll say before showing you the couple of card messages that I got for the collective is that, of course, we're at the end of a year, right? And this whole year of 2023 has been a 7 universal year vibration. And that's been a very internal, self-reflective, healing the emotional body, healing the mental body kind of energy, where things maybe didn't always make sense, or energies, information wasn't always forthcoming. If you had questions this year, it was likely that the universe, spirit, your angels and guides, maybe gave you little bits and pieces, but nothing concrete, or nothing that made things hugely clear for yourself as you move forward in life. And that's because this year has been strongly about trust and faith and listening to your own inner compass, or your own inner intuition. But as we move, and we're getting closer to moving into 2024, that's going to shift the energy. It's going to become a lot more external. It's going to be focused a lot more on things like career and life purpose. It's going to become more masculine energy in nature, energy, action, forward movement, as opposed to feminine, which is this year of just, again, doing a lot of soul searching and healing. So the messages I got for the collective, the first card was the World card. And this, to me, when I saw it, means, again, that we're closing out a chapter in our lives. We're coming into a completion energy. Even though this isn't a tarot deck, the World card in the tarot deck is about the end of a cycle and the end of a chapter, coming to completion with something so we can have a successful new beginning, which I think we're going to see glimpses of in December, but definitely as we move into 2024. The next message was, whoops, I pulled 2 cards here. The next message was about repairing the body, mind, spirit. It's called Me Talks. And so it's like a detox. So we've been kind of like detoxing the emotional body, the mental body, the spiritual body of old past life wounds and traumas and old emotions and mindsets. And, that I can say for myself, definitely, I've been going through that. And if you've been having interesting dreams, our dream times are really ramping up right now. And it's kind of that detox of, on a spiritual level, of old stuff. And it might not be all stuff from this lifetime, but also from past lifetimes as well. And then the last card was really great because it's creation, something new. So here, the World card is saying endings and completion. And this card here is saying soul expression, something new. We're going to be moving into this idea of creative self-expression. And this, just reminds me of, planting seeds, watering those seeds, allowing them to grow into something. Right now, I feel like having that something that you want to grow kind of in your mind, envisioning that in your imagination, in your psyche. So holding that vision, and pretty soon, as we get closer to moving into a new year, we'll be able to actually, if you haven't already, actually planting whatever those seeds are and tending to them, giving them energy and love, and allowing them to grow into something new. So that's the messages I got, Kathi. What is your feeling about this month of November 2023 and moving towards the end of the year and into shortly something new, a new energy?
I'm feeling a lot more movement now. I a lot of what I do is intuitive, so connecting this way. I'm not an astrologer. I'm not a numerologist, at least as of yet, anyway. But so everything comes from my intuition, from my guides, hearing messages, connecting with energy. I'm a severe empath, so I feel a lot. Just to give you guys a little bit more of a background. So a lot of what I'm getting is when the energy came into November, I felt like there was a shift, like a lighter shift. The energy feels lighter right now, not as intense. This year has been sort of all over the place as far as, clients that I'm seeing, the messages that I'm getting for people. And it's interesting because when I was focusing on cards, the first card that came out for the collective was community. And that's a lot of the messages that I continue to get. And it's funny because it's a number 7, just so you all know. So that's kind of interesting how we're talking about the number 7 for the year. But community, I keep getting messages to gather together. It's not just about working on your personal intuitive and what's going on within yourself and where we need to change and shift and release and all of that message. But it's also about coming together with like-minded souls who can love and support you as to where you are and where you want to be right now in this moment. Like that's what I keep getting is very important for us to keep coming together, which is partially why we're all here today. So to love and support each other. The other thing that I think really struck home, Colleen, is I got door to spirit. So opening the door to spirit, like not forgetting, not only spirit on the, you know, your guides, your loved ones, your ancestors. It's also opening the door to your spirit, to standing in your power, to pulling in your energy and saying, this is who I am. I make no excuses. This is where I want to go. This is where I want to be. This is who I want to be. And not sort of putting on that facade. I know at part of my lifetime, I put on a mask thinking that I was being what others wanted me to be. And then I came into my own and decided, you know, this is, you know, evolving and shifting and changing and moving forward. And that's a lot of where I came into where I am at the moment. I also got a lot of letting go, which I think is interesting because this is a fall and autumn card. So very appropriate for where we are. It's letting go, like I was saying, of the facade. You know, there's a lot more masks being worn. Now we're not having to wear masks as much, but there's a lot more masks within ourselves being worn that we need to release and let go and just say, this is who I am, like it or lump it. You know, this is who I want to be. This is where I want to stand. This is what I believe in. This is what I want to do for myself. And it really is what I tell my students is it's a lot about being selfish, because we always feel like if I focus on me, I'm selfish. And that's not what it's about at all. I used to joke with my children and say, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. And I never realized how true that really is. If you're not happy within yourself, how can you help others outside here? I am a healer. I am a psychic. My healer is always taking care of everybody else and never really looking within and doing the work that I need to do for myself. So it's really important at this time as we go into the new year to take action, which I love. I also love that these are horses. Horses to me are always about freedom. So finding the freedom within yourself, taking action, and just to cap it off, when we talk about going into the new year, I got transformation. So it's transforming ourselves into the true essence of who we want to be, because when we go into next year, we need to be prepared for that. We need to be ready to say, ooh, now I can create for me. I can create wonderful things and go forward because I now have myself standing on solid ground for me. Has nothing to do with what's outside of me. Everything you're looking for is right here. It's here. It's not here. It's here. Once you create this, you can create anything out here. It's standing in your power and standing in your truth and standing into who you know yourself to be so that you can have a true transformation. So that's what I got so far.
I love how we got some similar messages because, you know, November.
Don't we always?
Yes, we always do, don't we, Kathi? Kathi and I, like I said, we did this last year through Empowered Voices, right? And so we did it for several months and then, you know, things happen and life happens and, you know, we kind of did our own separate thing for a while and now we're coming back together full circle, which is lovely. But this, you know, energy of November numerologically, it is a time of completion, just like, you know, that world card I had and Kathi had that card that talked about releasing and healing and, you know, just kind of surrendering and allowing things to fall away. And that's really what November is about. And even as we move into December, though, December gives us this little glimpse of new beginnings. And, you know, Kathi had some messages with that. I had that creation card that kind of spoke of that. You know, December, we're moving into numerologically, it's going to be a karmic number vibration for December. But the karmic number is a 19, and the 19 has that 1, which is about new beginnings. So we get the glimpse of, again, these planting new seeds and new beginnings, but it also has the 9 in it. And the 9 is the last of the single digits. So again, we have this ending, completion, releasing, and healing. So there's a carryover from November to December with some of that healing and surrender. But there's also an opportunity as we move closer to December and into December to have some sight ahead as far as what some of the new seeds of 2024 might be about. So definitely some exciting times. So we're going to see, unless Kathi has anything else to add to that.
No, I got playfulness when I was focusing on December, which makes sense because December is a kid month for me anyway. So I'm just going to say that my inner child, like, I love the holidays. Sorry for those who don't. I just love Christmas. I love the lights. I love the songs. I love it. Yeah, I go back to like sort of my childhood with that and, you know, just really embrace that and have a lot of fun. But I do think it's important for us to play as well as to be so serious and releasing and focused.
Yes.
You know, and I know creation is another piece that I keep getting is that we need to be creative. So get together and make Christmas ornaments, get together and create a wreath. Yeah, exactly. And get together and like have some actually creative fun to express yourself, you know, to put yourself out there and what you want to do. So vision boards are always great for that. You know, if you want to focus on the new year, I'll be doing one of those here in my area. So yeah, doing one of those classes. And I'll definitely be doing my own vision board because I'm ready to envision some wonderful, fantastic things.
Absolutely. So we're blessed to have a lot of people here, and we're not going to be able to get to everybody when we do these mini readings, but Kathi and I are just going to kind of tune in as far as, you know, raising your etheric or real hand here if you want a mini reading. And then we'll just kind of choose through spirit, you know, where spirit wants to lead us as far as who's going to be getting the reading today. And by the way, if you don't get a reading today, we're going to be doing this again on December, is it 10th, Kathi?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so December 10th is the next Cards and Coffee mini reading event. All right, so I saw, who did I see? I saw hands go up with Barb. So Barb, tell us your date of birth for starters.
March 8, 1958.
March 8th, 1958. And tell us if you have a specific question that you want looked at, or if it's just general, you want to see what spirit has to say for you.
General, please.
General. All right. So I always, you know, like I did with Carrie, I'm going to let Kathi go first.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm looking at your date of birth. I always just jot things down, even though I'm not really a numerologist, but certain things tend to come to me. And I'm getting that it's definitely a transformation time for you. That is a time of sort of looking beyond and focusing on, you know, really what I feel, first of all, you're a healer. So I'll say that, an empath, which I think most of us here today are empaths, different degrees of that. But I'm also getting it's sort of like, it's so funny. This just fell out of the card, so I'm just going to show you this card. It's magic in the mirror. You can see that. I'm hoping you can see that. And it's funny. I always hear. I used to be a professional singer, so I always hear songs in my head, and I keep hearing "Man in the Mirror" by Michael Jackson. In case any of you happen to know that song. But what I'm getting is that it's time for you to sort of put the mirror in front of you and focus on you. I feel like you're a giver, you're a healer, so you give it to everybody else. It's sort of like what I had shared. I feel like this is a time that you need to sort of focus on you. I'm also getting sort of some like trying to stand in your power, but there's something about like an outside or family force that sort of keeps distracting you or pulling you in a different direction. So there's something about sort of like just again the mirror, standing in your power, looking in the mirror at yourself and sort of putting everyone aside for a moment so you can focus on you. I feel like you need time for contemplation, for you to sort of step aside, you know, sort of like you being here today. You're doing this for you, but I feel like you need more moments like that. I feel like you fill your life with everything you need to do for everybody else. And I feel like it's time to sort of take that action to sort of come back into this focus for me. It's also something about you being like being away from practices that you used to do, whether it's meditation, but that's what they keep showing me is meditation. Like there's something about you sort of taking a moment to maybe, and again, everybody thinks meditation is like, you know, half an hour, 2 hours. It really can just be 5 minutes a day, just focusing on your breath, focusing on you, just taking that moment and sort of, saying gratitude for the day. I wake up saying thankful every day and take a moment for myself, and I go to bed every night saying thank you. So just taking a moment to do that for yourself and bring that into your awareness right now. That's a lot of what I'm getting for you. I'm going to sort of pass this on to Colleen. I may come back with more.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, so Barb, the first thing they're showing me is that, you do, like Kathi said, you come in with a lot of spiritual energy. You definitely have a lot of inner wisdom and knowledge about you, but you also have a great kind of inner strength and resolve around you. This particular cycle of energy that you're in, and I talk about cycles as far as birthday to birthday, the cycle that you're in right now until March, when you have your birthday again, is one of completion, all that completion that we were talking about in the cards we were showing you for collective messages. I mean, this is like an ending of a cycle for you. And I do agree with Kathi, it has something to do with personal power. It's like you're shedding old layers of yourself that you no longer need in order to come more into your personal power and to stand strong in your truth and have confidence and courage. But this is strongly a year of kind of letting go, surrender, releasing, it's almost like, again, being in the rowboat without any oars, and the universe is just taking you where it will, basically. It's kind of this kind of push-pull energy, because you want to kind of sometimes guide the boat, but spirit is like, no, you just got to let go and let the boat go where it needs to go. Now, as you move into like your next birthday cycle, because it's not that far away, it's truly going to be sort of like when I talked about December being both endings and new beginnings. The next whole birthday year for you, so March 2024 to March 2025, is that kind of a cycle for you. It's going to have both endings and new beginnings. So that the endings, completion, releasing, surrender, trust, and faith energy is carrying over from this cycle, but you're also going to have the oars again to steer the boat. So you're going to be able to kind of, again, move into some new directions. It's a huge, huge evolutionary, important time period for you as you move into that new cycle. As far as messages for right now, a lot of archangels were coming in. So you have a lot of archangel connections and archangel energy around you. I feel like one of them was Archangel Raziel, and he's like Merlin the magician, energy to me. So it's about magic and creation and visualization and manifestation. And there was something about the Akashic records in there too. So I don't know if you do the Akashic records, if you've had your Akashic records read, if you want to learn about it or just tap into it for yourself. But that was something that came through as well. But a lot of other archangels were definitely coming in as well. And they were talking about, it's all about love right now. It's all about like being the essence of love and opening your heart and your heart chakra. And this is self-love as well as like love and compassion for others. Just kind of being that essence of love and emanating that love is important right now for healing of situations, healing of relationships, healing within yourself. And then the last message was about realizing that, excuse me, the universe, God, source, whatever you want to call that energy, is like your partner right now. So knowing that you don't have to like go it alone or do it alone. And I think, as a Pisces, you're a Pisces, I feel like you're pretty good with that anyway. You're not alone. You have that angelic or spiritual support all around you, but really kind of letting go and allowing the universe to guide you, help you, heal you, bring you to the right people, places, and circumstances at the right time. And just really going with the flow is in this moment what you're here to do. Again, it'll change and shift a little bit where you have a little bit more ability to direct in the next birthday year, but it'll be still a combination of surrender and being more directive as you move into that next cycle. So that's what I got. Anything more, Kathi?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you that she is not alone, because I don't know if you saw I'm sure those of you that are on here saw my expression. I was like, because I was getting that, this is how Colleen and I work. So yeah, I totally get it. And I do agree that that you're not alone, but I feel like almost like you needed validation with that. Like a little validation for that. So, and you are protected, because that was the bigger thing that came too, is that you're also in protection. They're over you, watching you, protecting you right now. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Barb. All right. Oh my goodness, there's lots of hands. Kathy, do you want to pick somebody?
My eyes immediately went to Jennifer. So
All
I
right.
just, yeah, don't know why. I'm sure we'll figure
Jennifer,
that out.
if you can unmute if you haven't already, and Jennifer, tell us your date of birth.
There you go.
She's trying to unmute. Hang on.
Okay.
She's working on it.
I am trying to unmute. Yes, I was.
Okay.
Hey,
Hi, Jennifer. What's your date of birth, hon?
it's August 5th, 1980.
Oh, I love the Leo energy. August 5th, 1980.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific area that you want us to look at, or general?
Let's just do general.
All right, let's do general. All
Mhm.
right.
All right. We'll give Colleen a few minutes to calculate. First thing I'm getting is transformation for you. So definitely being on a path. I keep seeing you sort of like on, like the precipice of, I'm here, and which way, what am I doing? Where am I going? The interesting thing is as I look at your picture, you have this beautiful beam of light coming over you. So I can't ignore that. Knowing that, they just want to like let you know that they're here today. Now I'm sure you're sitting in a window with the sun shining, but this is just what I'm seeing for me. And intuitively getting. It's almost like trusting your inner goddess to know that you can go forward. Goddess is a big word for you, is focusing forward for that.
Wow.
Connect with them more, connect with that avenue of who you are more, and enlighten yourself more. I feel like you started to sort of dig into some of that, and then you were like, maybe not right now. Like, I can't go there right now. And it's okay, because that's what we do. But allowing to yourself to peel that back a little. You also have a lot of fairy energy. So I'm just going to say, like, kind of go into some of the fairy energy, learn how to connect with them, learn how to enlighten them. You have sparkle. As I'm looking at you, I see sparkles. So that's always fairy energy for me. I have fairy energy too. So I totally get it from one sister to another. So I'll just say that. But it's definitely time for you to take, like, I feel like you need to take the bull by the horns and just go. Like, I think it's time, like, you're like almost like right there on the edge, like on the speed bump, kind of vacillating back and forth, like, oh, I want to, but oh, I don't know. Oh, I want to, but oh, I don't know. Just do it. Like, that's just what I want to say, is just because you are needed here so desperately, like, you are needed. And that's the biggest thing I think that sometimes tends to hold us back, is when we have a life up to this point that kind of doesn't always support us. So I'll just say that, whether it's family that doesn't support, or friends that haven't supported, or loved ones that have hurt you along the way. What I'm saying is, you have done your work. I want to give you a certificate and just this beautiful chalice, and say, drink from the chalice and go enlighten the world, because that's where you are. And I totally feel like you should be on this video with us at some point, talking to all these people just like we are, because that's a lot of what I'm getting. No cards or have even been pulled, because this is what happens when spirit wants to give it, they want to give it. So I feel like I'm here to sort of like be your cheerleader. So if I keep hearing that song, oh, I think that I found myself a cheerleader. Anyway, y'all don't know me. Welcome, buckle up, buttercups, because here we go, because this is how Kathi works. So yeah, you've got to go, girl. You have got to go. I can't even say it enough. They keep showing me horses, which is all about freedom, as I've told you. Like, gallop along. If you need support, Colleen's here. I'm here. We never turn anybody away. So you have definitely got your sisters surrounding you right now. So go for it.
Yay,
Okay,
Jennifer.
Colleen, your turn.
Yay, Jennifer, cheerleader energy is here for you. Okay, so the first thing I'm getting is that, you come in basically with a master number life path. So like, you are the master builder, you are the master manifester, and you have these great ideas, as well as this ability to focus them and ground them in reality. The only problem is sometimes it takes a little bit more earthly time than you would like for some things to kind of manifest in your life. So you have to have patience. You have to be like determined and persevering. Sometimes it might feel like, because you have this 5 birthday, it's like 5 energy is quick. Come on, let's make it happen. Let's make it manifest. And then this overall energy of your soul is like, no, we chose to come into this lifetime to understand the process a little bit more, to take our time and build a solid foundation. So you have this kind of push-pull energy that you're dealing with for yourself. And this particular birthday year cycle, which for you started on your birthday in August of this year, it's kind of been a little bit challenging as far as making stuff happen. This has been like this slow moving kind of energy, and things aren't happening the way I want. And, Leo is all creative, self-expressive, and here I am, I'm shining my light in the world. And I want to shine as far as success and recognition, not in an ego way necessarily, but just, I want people to see who I am and to see my creative contribution. And right now, I just feel like it's been slow moving, slow going, not like feeling like things are happening. But I feel like you're going to feel somewhat of a shift when we move into the new year, even before your next birthday cycle. I feel like it's going to start to like unfold a little bit more and happen a little bit better. And then even much more so as you cross the threshold into your next birthday cycle. It's going to be all about expansion, abundance, prosperity, energy, blessings, creative self-expression. So right now it's like you're working up to some of that energy. They were showing me that right now, and we kind of already covered this in a different way, but it's like feeling sort of like your energy is confined. Like you want to express, but your energy feels like it's tied up or bound or confined. But again, you're slowly, as we all are on a collective level, that like the knots and the, feeling of being bound is like starting to loosen up. It's starting to like undo itself, basically. They were also showing that this is a cycle that focuses a lot on relationship energy, not just necessarily on a romantic level, but any one-on-one relationships, friendships, family, even work associations. It's all about finding the balance between you and the other. Is there mutual give and take? Is there mutual support? Am I giving more than the other person is, or vice versa? Is there something unbalanced or unequal? It's like Libra the scales, Libra the scales, when it's unbalanced, she wants justice, she wants equality. And that's what you're looking for. So again, this focus on relationships until next August is like, well, I'm giving and I'm doing, but that person isn't reciprocating. It doesn't mean they're a bad person. Maybe they're going through something, but it does mean that you can't keep like pouring your energy into something that's not giving back in some way, shape, or form. And maybe it'll come back around with that person at some later time. But right now, you're just trying to keep yourself balanced. This is a focus on balancing physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually right now, and having that balance within yourself. So again, there might also be other things going on in romantic partnerships. They didn't kind of go into that anymore. But kind of back to that energy of slow moving, they said it's time to prepare for what it is you want to come to fruition. So this is a kind of a preparatory kind of energy until your next birthday. And like I said, you'll see some of it, some kind of movement after the first of the year, but even more as far as the manifestation of the creation energy as you move past your birthday. They were also saying that a lot of things are being revealed to you, like having some aha moments and some revelations that have been going on. I don't know what they're about, but they just mentioned kind of the word revelation. So that's something to also be paying attention to. And that's all I got. Kathi, anything else?
Yeah, it's funny because when you were talking, I held up the card that had just fallen out of the deck that's called Foggy Bog. So you were talking about her being sort of in that foggy state. So I held that up. I thought that was kind of funny. But I keep seeing a bear spirit around you. Like I keep seeing one of your totem animals as a bear. And it's interesting because bears are very protective, very courageous. so, kind of get to know that beautiful totem animal that's around you. The other thing too is they were showing me like almost like a flip book of your past lives, that you've done this in so many lifetimes. And this beautiful card came out called Ancient Oak Spirit, which is all about being grounded. But if you look really, really, really close, I'm going to try to zoom in. Hang on, I got to look to find out where she is. There's a fairy right there above my finger. I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to put it in there. See that fairy? How we had talked about the fairies. So it's almost like the balance between that light, fun, playful, and then the very grounded oak tree that's very solid and grounded. So that balance, a lot of what Colleen was talking about, that balance, that beautiful balance that you have within you, and trying to be able to do that. The other thing too is when she was talking about like the friend that's in your life, sort of like releasing whatever, their journey is different than yours. And that's what you need to know, is that it might not work today, like Colleen was saying, but it's because their journey is meant to go a different way. And there's a lot of having courage in that journey, like courage to be able to get yourself to be strong enough to think that I can do this by myself. I don't need anyone with me. And then you'll find what you're looking for, and the connection that you're looking for with people, you'll find once you get on your path and allow yourself to be where you're going to be. So that's what I
Wow.
They also, real
Wow.
quick, they wanted to mention that when we were talking about healing or relationship matters being a focus, they said that it's not just about the physical relationships that you are experiencing right now, but even some maybe from the past, like healing some relationship dynamics, or like they also said like almost like a broken heart, like something that might have happened in the past that hurt you in some way. And this is a time to focus on, what are my belief systems about relationships? How do I feel about them? Where is there maybe some faulty belief systems regarding that? How can I shift that? How can I shift my perspective? And how can I heal this kind of broken heart energy that may have happened, in the past with not somebody that's, physically, going on in relationship right now. So, all right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome,
You're welcome.
Jennifer. Okay, so I guess it's my turn to pick somebody, and I am going to go to, interestingly enough, I can't see Lisa, but I can see Lisa's hand is raised. And so I'm going to choose Lisa's iPad. Lisa, can you hear us?
Hi, yes, I can.
All right, can you give us your date of birth?
11/19/61. My birthday's today.
Oh my God.
Oh,
No
happy
wonder I kept
birthday.
going to you. Happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you.
Oh, do you have a specific question, or just a general? See what spirit has to say?
Yeah, the thing on my mind that's been a lot on my mind is job and finances. I'm really have concerns about that.
Okay, job and finances. It's not surprising with your Scorpio, right?
Yes.
Yes, not surprising for Scorpio. All right, so we hand that to Kathi.
Okay. You started talking, I wasn't so sure.
No,
It's
no.
interesting. What the first thing I'm getting, I'm nodding my head because that's what I was getting with you. It was like they were showing me money, so I'll just say that. So that makes sense. Job and finance makes sense. A lot of what I'm getting for you is sort of like whatever you're trying to create for yourself, you have like this almost like tunnel vision for yourself, and they're showing me to sort of like expand your vision, to expand, change your strategy. As to how it's been working before, it's not really working that way for you, because I feel like you're almost like in that process of creating something new. The other thing too is that there's something about you always going back to what you know, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but going back to what you know, but maybe you should expand or really look at what you know. Sometimes when we go for a job interview, and they're showing me like building a resume, we put the things, like the basic things that we know that we do, but there's always so much more that we do. And they're kind of wanting you to sort of expand on that and go with your passion. Like now is a time for you to sort of take a leap of faith, because I keep seeing that, like trusting and having faith. There's something about you, like really going within and saying, okay, I always say this to my kids, because I'll just say that. If you couldn't fail, if you could do anything you wanted to do and you couldn't fail, and money wasn't an option, where would you go and what would you do? So there's sort of asking yourself that question and saying, what would I want to do? Now, most of us will be like, I want to win mega millions. well, if you're not playing, you can't clearly do that. But in some places, that's not a life path for us. That's not a path that we're meant to go. So it's really looking at, what do I want to do? What do I want to create? If I'm looking for a new job, where do I want to go? And there's a lot of asking yourself that. I feel like you've got a lot more resources within you that you can pull on that would give you more joy in a job, because that's what I'm getting. Financially, I feel like you're going to be fine. I'm getting something around like the beginning, more like February, March area, that something is going to come to you that's going to make a lot of sense. But between now and then, it's sort of just hanging in there and trusting and having faith, and still continue to look. I always tell people, apply for everything. Apply for everything that you think that you can do, and just see what happens. There's also this sort of getting yourself through some emotional time, like emotional, and I'm just going to put it this way, emotional baggage that you need to sort of like unpack and go through for yourself, so that you'll have a clearer mindset as to where I want to go, what avenue do I want to go, those kinds of things. Like, it'll become more clearer to you. So allowing yourself to do that. It's so funny because when I said February and March area, the victory card came out, like literally flew out of the deck. I just kind of stuck it aside for the moment. So I know that you're going to be okay, because spirit, that's what spirit is telling me. But it really is about you looking within yourself and finding, who am I? Like, I feel like that's your first job to do, is get to know yourself better, get to trust the things that you want to create, the things that you want to do, the places that you want to go. And then your vision's going to become more clearer. But it's really about you doing some work here first before you're able to look out here, if that makes sense to you. With that, I'm going to pass it to Colleen for the moment, if she's ready.
I always mute myself while you're talking, just in case I say something out loud, because I'm so expressive with my Leo moon. I might go, oh, wow. Okay. So definitely, you're in a time of new beginnings. First of all, let's just give you like this background energy of this new cycle of energy that you're entering now on your birthday today. And this is a time of new beginnings. It's interesting because, that's what we talked about for the collective, and it keeps coming up for a lot of you in the readings. But this past birthday year, Lisa, has been one of that surrender, go with the flow, I'm in the rowboat without the oars kind of thing. There was a lot of emotional body healing, a lot of mental body healing, maybe some healing with home and family stuff, either in real time or home and family dynamics, as far as mindsets and belief systems that maybe you grew up with and adopted, that were from the home and family, that just needed to be kind of shifted and released and healed and purged. And so it was a huge purging year for you. Now you're going into this new cycle, and it's planting new seeds and moving in new directions, which is a great thing when it comes to job and finances. So there is some new beginnings, but the new beginnings for you have to start first on like the mental body level. Like, I have to shift my perceptions. I have to shift my perspective. I have to adopt new belief systems, more like a glass half full rather than a glass half empty. I have to go in and weed out from the mental body, self-critical or self-judgmental energies against myself for whatever X, Y, and Z from the past. I just have to like go through this kind of mental house cleaning, I feel like is a good way to start out your new birthday cycle. But again, as we shift, well, first they're saying to back up and say, this particular year has been, I feel like it's been a little tough for a lot of people that want forward movement. I just felt like the forward movement, the clarity, it wasn't really there for a great portion of us. But it's going to shift as we move into 2024. And same thing for you with job and finances. Once we get into 2024, there's going to be a bit of a shift. And it's going to, again, start on a mental level for you to shift your mindset into one of being more empowered. I think Kathi might have said something about, maybe that was for somebody else, but something about your power, your sense of being empowered. That's where you have to start out the new year with. So when you set your intentions for the new year, or you do your vision board for the new year, or do your meditation and, prayers, if you will, for the new year, that's where I want you to start it out, with confidence and courage and a good sense of your inner power and your empowerment, because that is going to lead us into the cycle of new beginnings for you. I got the similar energy with you that I did for, I think it was Jennifer, where you feel like all tied up and like there's energies that are binding you. And for you, there's that feeling, but I feel like it's energies like from other people that are weighing you down, because Scorpio is a hugely empathic sign. They're really affected by outside energies from other people, from situations, even places that you go and you pick up stuff and you pick up stuff. And then you go home and then you're like weighed down or bogged down by all this other energy that's not yours. So
That's
I feel
exactly
like,
how I,
what's that?
that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah. So they're talking about being kind of like that feeling of being bound and tied up. It's especially for you, maybe more so than for Jennifer. The message is to like do this clearing. And basically I got the chakra card for you, where I'm needing to like clear all of my chakras. I need to balance all of my chakras. I need to pull cords. I need to release and let go of all of these other people's or situational energies that aren't my own. Some of it might be yours. Some of it might be old emotions that still need to be kind of rooted out and let go, or old belief systems that need to be released. But some of it is other people's stuff. And it's just kind of creating this, I don't want to use the word block, but as far as the new job and the finances kind of increasing, it's sort of, holding you back a little bit. And then they were saying, as far as new job and finances, that you might have to step outside of your comfort zone or step outside of what you normally did in the past when it comes to job. Like you feel maybe secure and comfortable in this bubble of what you've done or who you are and what you've done in the past. But they're saying there's a whole big wide world out there, and there's a whole bunch of other things that your soul, your spirit wants to experience. It's almost like being more adventurous. I know Sagittarius is the more adventurous sign rather than Scorpio. Scorpio is fixed, and so they can kind of get into a groove, and sometimes that ends up being like in a rut, because this is my fixed energy of what I'm comfortable with. But they want you to step outside that comfort zone and really start to experience and explore other possible avenues here. I did get new beginnings for you. So the new beginnings, and to get to the new beginnings, we have to take a bold step forward. Again, that kind of reiterates to me that you have to maybe do something outside your comfort zone. Maybe you're learning something new. Maybe you're taking a job where there's going to be some new learning kind of in the mix here. But I agree with Kathi, the finances and the job is going to come around. It's interesting that, Kathi, I can't remember what you were saying, but something about like lacking direction or clarity of direction. And I got the Lost in Space card. The Lost in Space is like, I need direction. I need to know where I'm going.
Yes.
But I feel like the first thing for you is, again, just clearing your energy and clearing out old emotional stuff. I feel like there's going to be some emotional stuff maybe coming up for you. I'm just thinking they're just showing me the planet Uranus. Uranus is right now in Taurus, which is the opposite of Scorpio. So Uranus is about liberation and freedom, but it can also bring in unexpected situations or circumstances. We always say that Uranus's motto is expect the unexpected. So in one way, Uranus is breaking free or breaking you free of old emotional energies or mental energies. And in another way, again, it's expecting the unexpected, which means I can't just think that this is the way the job and finances is going to go, or this is the avenue I have to look for it. This is like, I have to open up to the universe as far as whatever pops in, comes in, and then follow up on it. Like Kathi said, apply for everything, even if you don't feel like you're qualified, or, it's like, oh, that'd be really fun, but I don't know anything about it. Do it anyway, because I feel like it's going to be something new that comes in. And Kathi, I'm going to let you, if there's anything to follow up on, and I want to figure out kind of what months might be good months for her.
Yeah, I keep getting your voice, like your voice is important. I keep hearing it over and over and over in my head. Your voice is important. Your voice is important. Like when she talks about standing in your power, that's a lot of what I keep getting, is that make sure you're sharing your voice. Your opinions matter. And when she was talking about letting go or weeding through some old family is what's coming to my head. So I'm just gonna say that family stuff or family relationships, relationship stuff. So I would say that. I keep feeling like you need to stand in your power and share your voice. Your voice is what's important here. And also what that also means is not just your technical voice, but it also means sort of allowing yourself to be seen, allowing your voice to be heard. Because when you're here to emit your voice, sometimes we're like, oh, did I say that out loud? Like, oh, did I really want to put it that way? You can always change it and shift it and make it into something else. Like I've done that myself where things just fall out. I'm like, wait, let me take that back and rephrase that for a minute, because again, it is what it is. So yeah, there's a lot of that and sort of standing in that. It's funny. She talks about, it's funny when I'm talking about power, I have the dragon card, which I absolutely love dragons.
Oh,
So it came out the power of the dragon. And then right after that came out the dragonfly, which is change. So you're definitely on a dragon power cycle thing because we've got the dragon and then we got the dragonfly. And then we have eagle, which is freedom. Once you start sharing your voice and stand in your power and let yourself be seen and heard, the more you're then going to be able to shift and have more focus and clarity as to where you want to go and what you want to do and who you want to be now.
I'm going to give you a couple of months to pay attention to, Lisa, but first I want to say that I got, where am I? Oh, there I am. You got the vanishing mirror and ego sublimation. So it's like who you thought you were, you have to really just kind of release and let go because we're always growing, we're always changing, we're always evolving. And again, what you may have used to be or how you used to project yourself, that's going to be changing. And you can't be so attached to your idea of who you are basically. But the months, like you're coming out of the gate in 2024 real strong here when it comes to new job, new finances coming in, abundance, prosperity, that kind of thing. January and February, I want you to like go. January and February, and then something good may kind of manifest in May. I'm not saying nothing's going to manifest before May, but there's something about like more balance or manifestation kind of in May and then next September. But definitely growth, expansion, abundance, prosperity, January and February. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. And I think, Kathi, we have time for one more and it's your turn to pick somebody.
I'm going to close my eyes. Elise is where my eyes went. So I'm going to go to Elise.
Okay, Elise.
So if you can unmute yourself, please.
Yeah. And
Hi.
what's your date of birth, Elise?
April 26, 1969.
April 26, 1969. General, or do you have a specific in mind?
Let's do general.
All right. Kathi?
Okay. All right. So it's interesting. The first thing I got that flew out of the deck as I was shuffling when you were giving your information was the winter card, like retreat, the spirit of winter. I actually love this card. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? If you guys can see that well, I'm hoping you can. It's so pretty. And it makes a lot of sense as to where you are. It's almost like you just need to take time to have patience. It's funny because the foggy bog card came up for you too, which is about just sort of being in the fog, patience. Like you're going to get through it. You're going to get past this. But I feel like once you're able to get past this energy, a whole world is opening up for you. Like I just keep seeing such brightness and sunshine and really focusing on. And the interesting thing is whatever you're doing for work, it's not that you're totally 100% going to be leaving that, but it's almost like I feel like it's going to shift into like a new area.
Purpose in life, then find your life path number. If your life path,
Somebody needs to mute themselves. I'm like, oh, she's getting 3 readings here. And just allowing yourself to get past that and sort of embrace the newness of where you're going. Like life is going to totally be different for you. In some ways, I mean, you'll have some of course, the loved ones that you have with you, those things. I don't feel like transition there so much, but really it's more about you. It's finding you. Like, it's almost like whatever you've gone through, you needed to go through. I just love spirit. I love how they connect. It's like, look at that magic card, Moonlight Enchantment. I actually love that. Moonlight Enchantment. But that's so where you're going. It's almost like you can pick anything you want to do in the magical field and it's going to be yours. Like you've done this in so many lifetimes. Like you are a master at what you're here to do. Up until now, it's almost like I see you following this path and then having this huge wall that you needed to sort of break down and get through so that you could finally illuminate and become who you want to be. You're an amazing healer. I know you're a sensitive empath because it's a lot of what I'm getting for you. It's also about sort of like whatever concepts you have had up until now. I can tell my joy guides with me today, so I'm just going to say that they're actually showing me like shoving that down a toilet and flushing the toilet. So I'm just going to say that, but they kind of make me giggle. But anyway, you know, just allowing that to just go. Like you just need to let that move on, get past that, and start on a whole new. It's like starting with a whole new pad, you know, to write things down, a whole new journal to start writing things down. The illumination of who you are and who you're definitely meant to be seen here. And you're definitely meant to help people in a huge way. So allowing yourself to evolve into that. I feel like almost like you're sort of, they show it to me like in quarter increments. If we talk about 100, you know, a quarter. So it's almost like you've got a quarter and a half that you're sort of like in that process. There's so much more that needs to be evolved through, flowed through. And it's more sort of this mental process of believing it, like 100% believing it, but it's almost like talking to the other part of yourself going, we can do this. Come on, we can do this. Like, just hang in there. We can move forward. So it's almost like sort of seeing that duality side of yourself. One that just wants to soar and go. And the other one that's like, no, wait a minute. We need to learn some things. We need to ground ourselves a little bit. But sort of allowing yourself to balance between those two thought processes, and just keep seeing. I'm going to take a picture of this card and send it to you because it's just like it's just where you need to be right now. So you know, it's like I just have to send this to you with the wolf howling at the moon, and just it's so who you are and where you are right at this point in time, and allowing yourself to sort of follow that path through that is so magical for you. People that may have been to work for you to work through, and there's still, you know, we're always going to have people in our lives that we continue to work with or work through and allow them to go on their journey. That's sort of going to become an easier process for you, like sort of allowing people to just be who they are, go on their journey. And as an empath, we always take everything personal, so you'll still feel that. So I'm not going to say you're totally not going to feel that, but it's allowing yourself to sort of like look at that and say, you know what? It's their journey. It's so funny. Their circus, their monkeys, you know, that whole premise of that, and allowing yourself to sort of like evolve forward. Like, I've got to be selfish and just be me. I've got to be selfish and keep moving for me. And if those that are around you cannot follow that path with you at this point in time, it's okay. Like, it's okay. And you have such a hyper focus for you right now. I would say stay with that. Stay with that. Keep focusing on that. Keep pinpointing where you want to go, and let that evolve for you. It's just such a beautiful journey that you're on right now, an amazing journey that you're on right now. So yeah, I'm just going to give it to Colleen.
Okay, so Elise, you're a Taurus, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the first thing they were showing me is that full moon lunar eclipse that we had. That smack dab hit you. Like, that was definitely bringing up an activation of some ending, completion, releasing, letting go in your life. It was definitely activating something for you. Now, you know, Taurus is a sign of, yes, money, finances, personal resources, but it's also about valuing yourself. And one thing they were talking about, they were actually bringing up the term sacred contract. And I said, okay, well, what are you talking about? What is the sacred contract that she's going to? And it was about like shifting into more of believing in yourself. Like, I feel like that lunar eclipse activated a cycle of clearing, purging, releasing, letting go that's still ongoing and is still happening, so that you could come into more of value of yourself, right? We value like these money, resources, possessions that we have in this lifetime, that we create in this lifetime. But what Taurus really is, it's about learning to value and love yourself, respect yourself and whatnot. So that was a huge kind of important message from the get-go. they were showing me that your soul comes in with this karmic number energy with your life path. So all that means is that, first of all, you've lived lots of lifetimes. And in this lifetime, you chose to heal and release and let go of some karmic patterns that have to do with, they're saying it's like a combination and merging of standing on your own 2 feet and being independent and being self-sufficient, while at the same time learning to accept help from others, or to even ask for help from others. Because, it seems like a weird thing when I say stand on your own 2 feet, be your own independent self, you're self-sufficient. But at the same time, when I need help, I need to ask for help. I need to know I'm not alone. I need to know that there's a whole like community out there of people, and whether that be your friends or family, or whether that be organizations and groups of like-minded people that are there to help, knowing that you don't have to go it alone. So this is part of what you're, in the bigger picture of it all, that your soul comes in with to heal in this lifetime. A lot of it is about belief systems, they're saying. It's about your mindset and your belief systems, which segues into the cycle of energy that you're in. So April of this year until April of next year, 2024, you're in a cycle of new beginnings, as so many of the previous people that were picked are, or in between the endings and new beginning cycle. Now, the new beginning for you is more, just like I said, for somebody else, it's on a mental body level. New ways of thinking, new ways of perceiving my situations and circumstances, or new way of perceiving myself, new way of believing. So new belief systems have to come in. So there's a lot of this initiation energies that's clearing out old mental body constructs, so that a new way of thinking, believing, perceiving can kind of come into play. And that all goes again around that self-value aspect, that sacred contract of coming more into this energy within yourself of confidence, courage, and believing in yourself, knowing that you can make things happen, that you're, Taurus is an earth sign, and sometimes Taurus gets bogged down in the earthly constructs, basically. And sometimes they forget that, well, I shouldn't say forget, but sometimes they lose sight of maybe that they are a spiritual being, a magical being, a miraculous being who can create through visualization. They can manifest what it is that they desire. And so this is part of what's kind of going on for you right now. And this is what that sacred contract that they talked about was about. They said this is a time to move on. It's a time to let go. It's a time to liberate and free yourself from old anxieties, old frustrations, which I feel like they're saying might be being experienced now or in the last few weeks and months. Maybe this feeling of anxiety about money, or this frustration about feeling stuck in a rut, because Taurus again is this heavy earth sign that sometimes can feel stuck, or that they're not moving. They kind of get into this comfort zone, right? The earth beneath our feet, Mother Earth Gaia, she's our comfort, she's our security. But sometimes we get kind of caught up in this comfort zone, and we forget that, again, there's a whole big wide world out there. And one of the cards I got for you was limitless possibilities, knowing that there's, again, this infinite potential and possibilities out there for you. And, it's time to kind of, it's like taking a salt shaker where the salt is stuck at the bottom, and it's like, I need to shake up this salt shaker. I need to kind of loosen up these set ways that I have, or set ways of thinking or perceiving or believing. And I need to realize that there's a whole big wide world out there with all these infinite possibilities. You're in a cycle of new beginnings. You're going to feel this more so as we move into 2024, because 2024 is more of an empowered sort of energy than 2023 was. And so I feel like you're going to feel this shift, and it's going to lead you to, again, a good place. We got limitless possibilities here. We've got Archangel Faniel, which says hope, optimism, and new beginnings. So that's coming in. Oh, and then we also have another card that says new beginnings. So you're definitely on the fast track to some new potential, but you have to shake up that salt shaker and get things kind of moving and grooving and not stay stuck in a place of comfort, the comfort zone, right, of the past. We need to move into, and maybe, you know, Taurus is not a big risk-taking sign of the zodiac, but let's just, instead of saying take a risk, let's say make a change. Let's make some little changes in our lives. And maybe the little changes are, when I go to my favorite restaurant, I'm not going to get the same thing to eat. I'm going to try something different. Or if I have a certain way that I drive to, you know, this certain place that I love to go, or a nature park, or the grocery store, I'm going to take a different route. In fact, I'm just going to drive down these side roads where I don't know where I'm going, and then I'll put on my Google Maps. That'll take me back to where I need to go, because you need to bring in and introduce some change into your life a little bit. So, Kathi, do you have any more to finish up?
Yeah, I got a couple of cards that really hit home, and one is transcending, which I'm trying to find where I am on the screen. And it's Pegasus, which again is not just freedom, like horses to me, you guys know is freedom, but it's a horse with wings. So it's like double freedom is how I think, like flying away from the old of who you were. The other card that really, 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 like, I heard bells and whistles when it came out was transmutation, which we don't see transmutation often. It's not just that you're transforming or transcending or going to this whole new path. It's that you're transmuting yourself. So you're changing yourself, or you're renewing yourself. It's almost like you've had, like, it's like you've died and you're born again. Like, that's what it feels like to me, is that it's not just about, you know, transitioning into a whole new place, as we know we're going to next year. It's about you transmuting yourself into where you're meant to be, into the true essence of who you are. And who you've been. This was the other thing I was getting about, like, past lives and connections to past lives. Who you've been up until now. It's almost like you ended that cycle for yourself. It's almost like you were who you were to this point from a past life, like you finished it. You know, I know when I sang professional, I was actually thanked by a past life of mine that never got to finish that in her lifetime. I was told I finished it here. I did that for her to finish that. And so, you know, it doesn't mean that it's any less of what I did. It doesn't mean it's any less of who I am. It certainly taught me a lot, if nothing else. And I'm here for my voice. So singing, now my voice of where I am now, it's all just utilizing it in a different form. And that's a lot of what I see for you, is that same sort of path to where who you were will not be forgotten. And it truly is going to benefit you for where you're going. But that the newness of who you're going to be, the renewal, because that was the other card that came out, was renewal. It's going to sort of emanate you, and it's a fairy too, which is kind of, I always want to hold it in the wrong place. It's a fairy. She's gorge. But yeah, so it's frog spirit, because she's, you know, talking to a frog. So it's frog spirit. So it's sort of like, if you ever think of like kissing a frog and it turns into the prince, that's who you are. You were the frog up until now. We're going to kiss you, and you're going to turn into the a prince if you want to, but you're going to turn into the princess or queen. I say go for queen. If you're going to be a princess, just go to the queen stage. So yeah.
And so to just kind of bounce right back off of Kathy's stuff and to kind of wind things up, we got Archangel Zadkiel for you, Elise. It says self-acceptance, and Inanna, believe in yourself. And I think that's a good way to kind of end this reading for you.
Nice.
All right. So everybody, thank you
you.
so much for tuning in. Remember, the next Cards and Coffee with Colleen and Kathi is going to be Sunday, December 10th, 11 a.m. Eastern time. And you can get to the link, or get the link through going to my meetup page, which is called Sacred Soul Empowerment. And there's a whole bunch of stuff there to sign up for. And you can kind of look through that and see if there's anything that strikes your fancy. So thank you all. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving if you're here in the United States, and happy holidays if we don't see you December 10th. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.